Now, we've met before. You won't remember. I did briefly mention it backstage, but I was working at London Studios, first series of Big Brother, which was obviously like it become a massive hit by this stage. And Nasty Nick was in trouble.
Oh, God.
And I was... We'll talk about Nasty Nick in a sec. I was doing a show called Time Gentlemen Please in one studio, and you were obviously there working on Big Brother, and I was standing behind you in the queue for the coffee shop, and your phone rang, and you went, and I said, is he out? And you went, yes, he's out. So I was the second person to know after Davina. Hey, she just told me as well, unbelievably.
I love that. Circle of trust, Richard. You just had a good face.
It was so, but it was like really exciting. I think you were as excited as I was by the experience. I guess people watching it just think, oh, that's you're just the host of the show. But it's such a difficult job, and you've got to keep it fair. You've got to think about the contestants and make sure that they're being treated well. So you've got that on your mind, but also you've got to make the show run, and it's all live. It's an incredibly stressful and difficult job, and you make that sort of thing just look so easy, I think, don't you?
Well, I've got to say, you said it's stressful and difficult. It was the greatest time of my life. Like, I loved it with all of my heart. Like, the only other person I've met that waxes as lyrical, well, Emma, absolutely adored it. I mean, Brian loved it. He lived and breathed it because he was in it.
Yeah.
Rylan, I've never known anybody. He's got a diary room in his house. But I used to call up. I wake up in the morning and I'd call the day producers and I'd go, what's happened overnight? That's how obsessed I was.
Yeah.
Not because I needed to know that for work necessarily even, but just because I was desperate to know who's shagging who. Is there any kissing? Oh my God, has so-and-so happened? What? Why did they do that? And they give me the minutiae. Yes, but how was her hair? What did she look like? Did she brush her teeth? Was she angry? Because that's the stuff that's fascinating. I watched a house tour the other day. Somebody posted it on Twitter. People are brilliant at posting great bits of kind of nostalgic clips of Big Brother on Twitter. And I love going back and looking at it again. And it was just a house tour.
Yeah.
And I was standing in the bathroom and I was thinking, we're going to watch people brushing their teeth in this mirror for the next 13 weeks. And that was one of the things I loved the most because watching someone brush their teeth is like massively intimate.
Yeah.
You never get to do that unless you're shagging or like...
Or hiding in their kitchen cabinet,
or your
in their bathroom cabinet. Yeah.
Richard. Did you watch Big Brother?
I did. So I was, and I think against my, I think I would have been against it as an idea to begin with, but absolutely sucked into that whole, that it was really, I was so excited. I was excited to be standing next to you, excited to get that piece of information before anyone else. And but it was the start, wasn't it, of what's, you kicked off this thing. Yeah. That will ultimately destroy the world. I mean, you're essentially responsible for Donald Trump. I think that's how it.
Do you know what?
How it works out.
I think if we pieced it forward, I could be.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we have to go back in time. We have to kill Davina McCall to stop Donald Trump. But it was. It was. I mean, that first series especially. It was so unique, and and when you think about it. It was so small compared even to where Big Brother went, and what Nasty Nick did. I interviewed him I did a poker show, and he apparently played poker sometimes as disgraced people. He can't do anything. All he did was write some notes down on a piece of paper. It's like and he's still called Nasty Nick.
But it's true, and we'd all, anybody from that generation, we'd all recognise him. Yep. It is impossible for him to get a normal job. That I have sleepless nights about that.
Good. Actually, you should. Well, but people went into it with their eyes open. And again, I suppose though anyone post the first series has no excuse. I think, right, because they've seen the first series, they've seen what happens, and they know.
Yes.
And in a way, that for me made the subsequent series, which was still I think good for a long time. It slightly tainted them because it didn't have that fit. They didn't know in there. They could have known. They could have thought no one's watching this, and I think they did think no one was watching it. They did,
yeah.
And so to not know and then still be doing all this stuff and trying to play the games, it was absolutely fascinating of the human condition. And I suppose, and again, the Nasty Nick thing was like the first. I mean, it was pre-social media, wasn't it? So if that had been social media, I think that might have been the end for him, because it was sort of bad enough as it was. With that David Beckham documentary, you watch Beckham after he's done the kick, and the months of
unbelievable pressure
he got for making one mistake.
What did you think about that documentary?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really brilliant, and that. But
did you have an opinion of them before, and did it change?
I sort of it did change a little bit, but I think they were very interesting. It's interesting how much they've let stay in. I think she comes across still quite badly. I think I love the bit with the Rolls Royce that everyone goes on is like terrific. But even
Do you know what I think? She is funny.
Yeah,
and she can laugh at herself.
She can, but then I think the bit when they took the chant about Posh Spice takes up the arse very seriously. I think you have to get to the point where you go, come on. I mean, it's not. They don't. It's just that they don't really think you do. I don't know if they think they do. They haven't got any evidence that you do. You can only be upset because that's all you do, right? Or David's really going, please let me take you out of the arse. No. I will never do it.
Oh my God.
So.
I never went into the minutiae of why you might get upset about a chance about you taking it up the arse. That's the funniest thing. I'm going to think about that all night.
But it's a really good. If you haven't seen it, do watch this documentary. It's really fantastic.
Good.
But I think for him as well, his strength, but also he's selfish. He's more selfish than I thought. He keeps on taking jobs.
Yes.
When he should be going back to his family, but then equally he can't give up the drug of being a footballer. Which is, I think, any performer. Must be so heightened as a footballer, because it's every goal must be, a million times, the biggest laugh in the world, I would imagine. But then then him now sort of keeping bees whilst wearing sort of fake peasant clothes. You kind of go, it's really difficult for people to navigate that fame, which is what Big Brother's about. It's about taking people who aren't famous, making them famous, seeing how they cope and seeing what happens. And there's a nastiness to that as well. But
whenever you take a person, I think it's one thing to want to be, to go and do a job which could make you famous, in which case you know what you're getting yourself into, and then you'll have to navigate life after that. But it's another thing altogether to take 13, 14 completely normal people from the street and then make them famous, and then they go back to their lives, because most of them have gone back to their lives. I mean, I remember this doesn't happen very often, but watching series 1, I really felt like I wanted Anna Nolan to be my friend.
Right.
I was like, Anna Nolan is my kind of girl. Like, she made me laugh a lot. She was funny. She was cool.
Yeah.
She like nearly become a nun, but she was quite naughty. I was like, she's fucking great. Like, I love this girl. And we did and are still friends.
Right.
Like, she's living in Ireland, so I don't get to see her as often as I'd like to, but we talk. And it's so hard. I mean, she actually has gone on and forged a career in Ireland. She does really well out there presenting. And obviously Brian's still working. But it is very, very hard after you've been a reality TV star for people to take you seriously, even if you are. Craig got a job, but they're all early adopters of Big Brother. I think later on it is really, really difficult. And then what do? You'll forever be known as, Golden Ticket Susie, or, there's people that will...
Kinga.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, please do.
No, I've never done that. In case that's the thing you think I'm about to tell Richard.
Yeah, I mean, if they'd said that about Posh Spice on the terraces, then...
If Arsenal made up a chant about me, I'd be thrilled. I don't care what it is, even that. But that was the one and only time I've ever called my producer the day after and gone, "Ooh, do you think we should have put that in?" Yeah. Like, I wonder if that's. And he basically explained that the next 48 hours pan out, because it's 20, it's like 24 hours after. that's all anybody talks about in the house. So they literally talked about it for 12 hours all day, everybody discussing Kinga. They said we wouldn't have a show if we didn't, and they said we cut it as nicely as we could. I was like, didn't look that great to me from where I was sitting. But that was quite a thing.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's sort of interesting now, now, I think, again, if social media had been a bigger thing, I don't know.
Well, social media came out in 2009.
Yeah,
so it was around for like about 2 years.
Yeah.
Twitter started in 2009. It was perfect. Like Big Brother and Twitter were like a marriage made in heaven. I'd tweet along all the way through every single show.
Yeah.